time for some WoW reacts. Okay, so chat. First, let's go look at the, you know, the stuff for the new season. Then, we'll go look at the new tier sets. Well, I'll go look at Demonology because I don't care about any other tier. Maybe I'll do a separate video for talking about demo. In the next season, maybe not. I don't know. I don't care. Let's watch the new season trailer from WoW. Let's go. Visually cool. Tajavesh coming back, kind of an elder, not gonna lie. This looks awesome though. Dope
Hello
zone.
everyone, and welcome to WoWcast. Today we're going to talk about the next major content update, Ghosts of Koresh. To help us uncover what's in store, I'm joined by two developers who helped bring Koresh to life. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Drew D'Souza, and I'm a lead encounter designer.
I'm Steph Yoon. I'm an associate.
So this guy here, this is the guy we need to blame for us having to download way more weak horrors than we should ever need to download to do a raid fight. This guy, I have beef with him. Please stop designing fights that require weak horrors. Thank you.
Lead quest designer, and I was also the point on this content.
First things first, what is Koresh and why now?
So Koresh isn't a new term to us. You know,
Yes,
way
it's the
back
ethereal
in Burning
homeworld.
Crusade, we first heard about them when we met the Ethereals in Netherstorm. And you know, they told us tales of Koresh, a beautiful arid homeworld for the Ethereals, until Dimensius the All-Devouring came and consumed their world soul. So we
Truth.
helped the Ethereals get revenge in Netherstorm, and we thought the matter was finished. And for the first time here in Ghosts of
Not quite.
Koresh, we'll be stepping foot on what's remaining of that planet, this shattered, void-touched land. Because
This is
we've
gonna
heard
be
that
sick,
evil
man.
forces are trying to resurrect Dimensius the All-Devouring, and if that happens, the Ethereals are toast.
Wait, he's
and
dead?
the Azeroth will be next.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too good for us. So, who's gonna help us try to stop Dimensius?
You know, with a threat like this, it's all hands on deck. Within the last major content update, Illyria.
Sorry, are we just gonna go through and talk about the entire story before we release it, Blizzard? Is that how this is gonna work? Maybe let's actually leave a bit to player discovery, you know. But sure.
Sort of took a step back and undermined. But she'll be here front and center with her old mentor, Locust Walker, as he brings us to his old home planet. And the eager
What a
players
surprise.
among us will have already gone through the content in Legacy of Aerthor, where there is a feature called Lore Walking, which gives hints to sort of the content that's coming up here in Ghosts of Koresh. In there,
Okay.
we learn that
That's kinda
Venari
cool.
and the brokers are interested in helping. Not only that,
Of course
they
they are.
brought
They want
their
profit.
entire city, Tazavesh, the Veiled Market, from the Shadowlands and placed it here right in Koresh. So we'll be able to use that as a home base. We're going to gather as much help as we can so that we can
Yeah, this one's definitely giving me PTSD. Tazavesh's stuff of nightmares.
face Dimensius in the raid.
And
Manifold
Vinari
Dimension.
rep.
I'm excited to see Venari. I know a lot of other people are too. You mentioned the
You're excited to see Vinari. Sorry, are we thinking of the same NPC? Grinding in the moor. That rep were not fun.
raid. Can you tell us more about
I'm excited to see Koresh though. That's gonna be a banger. Dimensius? Yo. Finally, we actually get to see something proper about a Void Lord. That's exciting.
that, Drew?
Absolutely, there's a lot to talk about. So our raid in Ghosts of Koresh is Manaforge Omega. It's a giant facility that's been built
Cool.
up on the planet to harvest cosmic energy. We're going to be fighting our way in and through it to take
Very
on the Shadow
ethereal.
Guards Ethereals, who are trying to revive Dimensius. While we're in there, we'll face down with an army of Ethereals still being wrapped, the creature they're harvesting silk from, and even a mysterious council of demon hunters that
Yo.
found their way onto Koresh. Oh, and of course,
That's kinda
it's going
cool.
to end with a cosmic level battle with Dimensius, who is the biggest raid boss we've ever made.
Yo! 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 That looks sick! That looks awesome! Bro, I imagined the Void Lords would look sick when we saw them. That's fire. That is straight up fire. Whoever modeled that deserves a raid. Like, my god, that is cool. That is cool. That is sick.
How big are we talking?
Like City of Stormwind sized?
What?
Yeah.
Do you have any
Okay.
examples of?
That also, that arena looks like the Belial fight arena in Diablo 3. This is gonna be cool. And if this is the size of Stormwind, like, okay, odds on that's a big exaggeration, but this is gonna be a huge fight. I reckon it's gonna go something like you start on one side and you slowly lose ground and end up at the other side, and then like there'll be a phase that will take you somewhere else. But yo, this looks awesome.
Like City of Stormwind sized?
I'm hyped.
What?
Yeah.
Do you have any examples of boss mechanics in the raid?
One that I think is really cool is actually our intro. Like I mentioned, this is a giant like mana intake facility, and we're actually going to come in through the pipe where they've taken the mana. We're actually going to utilize a artifact cloak we're introducing in Ghost of Koresh, the Reshi Wraps.
See, artifact cloak could be cool. Oh yeah, going inside of him, that could be mint. But the question is, like, if we kill him here, can he still resurrect? Or can we actually like kill Dimensius? It would be odd for us to be able to do it with our current power level lore-wise. Like, okay, sure, we get an artifact cloak, but like, I feel like we need more. Also, if that's the like warlock tier right there, yeah, okay. Like the shape of it looks quite cool. It's just still dead that we got another dress. Like, only class left in the game which has only gotten dresses. Please, Blizzard. Please. But still, that looks pretty cool. The shape of that helmet is dope.
To turn ourselves into energy and trick the filtration system. So our first boss encounter is against a warden that's overlooking these pipes, and we're going to need to go in and out
Suramar
of it to
vibes.
survive.
I'm excited for my druid to have another artifact. So let's break down Reshi Wraps. What's the fantasy behind them?
We wanted to give the players an upgradable artifact that had a visible component for transmogs, of course, because that's the true endgame of WoW, but didn't interfere with any tier.
Yo! If that's got like the shoulder drapes and the helmet like just included as the cloak, fire.
Sets. So
That looks
Reshi
dope.
Wraps are an artifact cloak that helps us turn our bodies from corporeal into an energy form. You know, a very powerful person within the campaign helps us gather these ethereal artifacts
Locust
and
Walker.
coalesces them
Or
into
Illyria.
the Reshi Wraps.
That's my bet.
And it turns our bodies into energy form and basically allows us to see the world through the ethereal's eyes. With this, we'll be able to interface with
That's a
an
cool
outdoor
concept.
activity called phase diving, which allows us to enter untethered space, which is an entirely different way to look at Koresh. It's an overlay that introduces new creatures, new objectives, new world quests.
I like
you know,
this.
new mechanics. And the cool
I
thing
like
about
the
Reshi
sound
Wraps,
of
it
this.
sort of interfaces
This is
with
good.
so much content across Ghost of Koresh. You can use it in the open world, you can use it in the
Like, I've been saying for a while now that WoW needs more content, like, outside of just instance content. Like, a lot more stuff focusing on the world. And it sounds like this is the step, which is goated for WoW. Like, I'm all for it.
dungeon, you can use it in the raid, and in delves as well.
Seeing the world in the eyes of ethereal sounds really, really cool. You mentioned delves. What is the new delve coming to Ghost of Koresh?
So we have a new delve coming in Ghost of Koresh, and this is called the Archival Assault. It takes place in the Azure Vaults and Dragon Isles. You might be familiar with that place, but this time it's chock full of ethereals, ethereal pirates, some brokers, and they're plundering the place, and we're going to put a stop to that with our buddy Bran. You'll be able to
More
take
delves is
advantage
good,
of your
though.
Reshi Wrap to unlock unique challenge gateways. They might have boss rushes or unique challenge rooms and need the cloak
Ooh.
to access them. Additionally, we're doing
That's
a little
cool.
bit of a social feature in here where you'll be able to see your friend's presence. They might be able to leave you messages. You see their ghost running around where they die.
Someone's been playing Elden Ring, haven't they? They've been seeing, like, WoW streamers have just been like, yeah, let's go play Elden Ring instead. And now they're just like, yeah, let's take that mechanic.
Died, maybe.
What?
Yeah.
So I can make fun of my friend dying
Yep,
in a certain
yep.
place.
And
Got it.
speaking of dying, let's talk about our nemesis for this season.
Yeah, they've literally ripped that out of Elden Ring, but like, hey, to be honest, that sounds like OG Blizzard. See a mechanic that works in another game that they could bring in and bring it into their own game. If they're back to doing like their top tier development that they did back then, that's a W. Also, can someone send me the tier sets though? Nobody dies in delves though if you have more than 2 brain cells. I mean, for the majority of the population, there's probably at least still a decent bit of challenge, but like delves in general are just fun. It's just fun to go for a delve. Like, who cares if it's not uber challenging? Oh, thanks both for sending me the tier set.
You might be familiar with her. Her name is Nexus Princess Kaiveza. You have unfinished business with her in Erebar. She's got a whole new bag of tricks for you. She's not going to hold back this time, and it's a 1v1.
I'm so glad that she is coming as a delve boss and not as a raid boss. I'm so glad they didn't just repeat Zymox. Like, we knew she was going to return. And I'm glad they've done it this way instead.
One scenario, so buckle up.
That's so exciting.
Okay.
I loved her fight in.
That looks like way too much movement. Please, as a Warlock player, as like the only class still realistically hard casting, let me hard cast on the move. Please, man. That looks painful.
Erebar Palace, and so I was always wondering where she vanished off to, because you don't actually defeat her. Let's head back to the outdoor world. What can we do on Koresh?
Yeah, there's 2 major systems. You know, the first one is called ecological succession. When we met the ethereals for the first time in Netherstorm, the 2 things that I noticed were their energy forms and their really cool ecodomes, right? These systems that allowed them to create biomes inside that didn't match what was outside. And
seeing this as a kid for the first time was like, whoa, that's cool. Like, yo, seeing that stuff was dope.
Here, basically, you'll be helping run one. Venari is trying to bring life back to those shredded parts of Koresh. And with that, she needs your help to fill it with animals and creatures that really thrive.
Definitely more casual content, but sounds like it could be fun if done engaging enough.
In the Koresh ecosystem. What this means is that she'll ask you to go back to previous zones, get animals, and experiment and see if they can survive in the Koresh ecosystem.
This is good. There's been a lot of times where we've been saying, yo, use the old world. Here we are. This is good.
And then release them to create a thriving ecology. Think of it as like a void Jurassic Park, where you're just like trying to make sure that this beautiful place can thrive. The other feature I want to talk about is phase diving.
I'll check it out.
I already mentioned it a little bit when I was talking about the Reshi ramps, but it's basically an overlay across all of Koresh where you get to switch to energy form and enter untethered space to access a whole slew of new content.
This sounds like what they experimented with in Sirenar.
You normally see in the outdoors, you know, treasures, rares, lore objects, all that. But there's also things that are unique specifically to phase diving. One of the features that I can talk about here is called warrants, where you're going to be helping the constable of Tazavesh hunt down notorious monsters.
I'm looking forward to also
that
building
sounds
my own
cool.
ecosystem. That sounds so cool. Anything with animals, you got me sold. Earlier we spoke about the new raid. What else is coming to Season 3?
Oh, there's a lot to talk about here. So first off, we have a new dungeon coming with Ghosts of Koresh. It's called Ecodome Eldani. It's very important to the Ethereals. It's a 3-boss dungeon. We're going to be fighting through devours, invading one of these places, eating some of the wildlife Steph talked about earlier. That's bad. We're also going to be fighting off a force of wastelanders that have taken over this place. We're going to fight our way through and figure out why they want this place. One more note with this dungeon is...
Not gonna lie though, I'm so surprised that they didn't bring that backseat for Triumvirate. I'm surprised. I thought they would have. Yeah, I'll look at the class changes in a bit. Do I do class changes before tier set or after? I'll do it before.
It'll be immediately available on normal, heroic, and baseline mythic with the update on Ghosts of Koresh.
I think the really cool thing about Ecodome Eldani too is that the canonical route that the storyline takes place is the campaign, the raid, and then Ecodome Eldani. And that's not a thing that we do often, you know? So I'm really looking forward to seeing how people react to
That's
this
interesting.
cadence.
So what are the dungeons in the dungeon pool?
Oh yeah, let's dive into that as well. Let's talk about the returning ones first. So we're going to head back to Revendreth and visit our friends, the Venthyr.
This should have been Seat of the Triumvirate.
Next to, like Steph mentioned,
and it would have been perfectly thematic.
Tazavesh should come back.
Of course.
That was a mega dungeon when it was first introduced, so we're going to break it in 2 pieces, of course. We're going to have
sucked.
Tazavesh Streets of Wonder, where we're actually fighting through the markets and bazaars and streets of Tazavesh, chasing down Solia. And then we'll have the second half, which is Solia's Gambit, where we're chasing him through portals. And
I hate this dungeon so much.
Tazavesh will also be returning as a mega dungeon experience in Ghosts of Koresh. Starting with Season 3, you'll be able to play it in hard mode as the baseline mythic difficulty. It'll have increased challenges, hard mode mechanics, and really awesome rewards. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know what? I'm happy that they've just brought back an old mega dungeon instead of wasted their time and effort on making a new one. Like, I prefer them doing this because generally seeing them making new mega dungeons and it feeling horrible to play, at least for me, sucks to see. Like Floodgate actually felt quite nice after the last few expansions when I brought a mega dungeon mid-expansion and it's felt horrible to play. Floodgate was quite nice to see. And then, you know, seeing this new dungeon, of course, I've got no idea what it's going to be like, but even if it is bad, it's 3 bosses. So it's probably going to be short and sweet. So, yeah, I like that.
Oh, we also had a community vote for the last 4. What were the winners?
Yeah, it was really cool to see what players' favorite dungeons were in the War Within, and the 4 that players chose were Operation Floodgate from Season 2, going back to punch some goblins, Priory of the Sacred Flame,
also goated.
Awesome Hollowfall vibes throughout, and then we're going to round that out with 2 dungeons from Season 1 of the War Within, Arakara, City of Echoes,
goated,
and the Dawnbreaker. Quick
goated.
note for the season.
The ones, like, objectively, I would say those are the top 4. Though subjectively, those are the top 4 War Within dungeons. Like, Dawnbreaker just felt awesome to play through. Definitely one of my faves of all time. Arakara was pretty nice, short and sweet one. Just has a nice pacing to it, in my opinion, and some pretty nice cheese balls. Priory is legit been my go-to dungeon this season. Yeah, okay. I really hope they fix demo for Dawnbreaker. They've had a season of it being broken, but if they could please fix demo for Dawnbreaker, that would be amazing. And then, yeah, Floodgate I actually found to be a pretty decent dungeon. It's got a nice challenge. I don't like some of the routes you can do though, and some of the skips, but in general, when you're doing it just for farm, it's decent.
In 1 dungeons, we are going to take a pass, you know, on the visuals, the combat pacing, the cast times, the number of abilities even, to make sure they're aligned with Season 2 dungeons.
Are there any other important notes for players to know about for Season 3?
Actually, not directly Season 3 related, but on the day of the update for Ghosts of Koresh, you're going to have access to non-bountiful delves and all Season 3 dungeons for heroic and baseline mythic difficulties. That means there will be Season 3 tuning in there, but also Season 3 rewards. You can get yourself a head start. Of course, Mythic Plus and the raid will open the following week, but you should have plenty to sink your teeth into on day 1. And oh yeah, one more thing. We've heard feedback for a long time now about how dungeon checkpointing works, especially in like Mythic Keystones where your timer's ticking down and whatnot. We're going to revisit our philosophy there on how long a run back is and when they unlock, and we actually want to visualize some of this in game through what we're calling waystones. So
okay, that's cool.
Checkpoints, you'll have an icon on your map, and you'll also have these stones that warp in and show you if I release. This is where I'm.
I don't care how things run for Mythic Plus, but
that is so
that's cool to see the
exciting
visualization,
I can't remember
and it's a
for
nice
the life
model.
of me every checkpoint in a dungeon. So thank you guys. And what about class sets?
Yeah, there's new set bonuses to talk about as well.
PvP, hello.
Omega, we're trying something different with the set bonuses. Up until now, they've been focused on your spec or your class. With this update, we're actually going to target your hero talents. So
this could be awesome, but what I'm scared about is it making Soul Harvest a meta for demo. I do not want to see that meta for demo. I know in PvP it's like definitely meta, but like no. I want to play Diabolist. I like having the option of the hero talents, and especially as demo, I like Diabolist because that's legit. It's as if you designed that with demo in mind. Like, yo, that's what I want to play. So, yeah, here's me praying that the set bonus keeps Diabolist in the meta. Yeah, I'm gonna get onto it soon.
In my case, I play an Arms Warrior, I play Colossus. I'll have bonuses targeting Demolish, but I'll still have spec hooks if I'm like a Prot Warrior versus an Arms Warrior to make sure that they're still competitive. We got you on the spec level, but we're targeting hero talents.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, and players can look forward to a lot of class updates as well. You know, a lot of talent updates for specs such as Brewmaster Monks and Unholy Death Knights. Now, along with Season 3's PvE content, there's also a new PvP season. There are PvP talents that are being updated as well. And for those of us who like outdoor world PvP, there is an entire...
More PvP stuff is what we need. World PvP, absolute cinema. This is what we need. W changes.
Island called Vanquisher's Wake.
I'll be avoiding that.
And I'll be there.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Sorry. This man? Leading counter designer? Saying he'll be there? For PvP? Chat, scratch what I said at the start of the video. Maybe I do like this guy. Maybe I judged him too quickly.
Before we wrap up, what are you both most excited for in this update?
For me, I'd have to say it's Dimensius. That's going to be a cosmic level encounter. There's planets blowing up. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds
Huge laser
W.
beams, you name it. Additionally, I think we have a really awesome dungeon pool this season. I'm excited.
Dimensius sounds like the coolest boss since probably Nazoth, conceptually before release of its tier, at least. I'm excited for it. I actually think it's going to be so cool.
Excited for players to check out Tazavesh hard mode.
I am also really excited about Dimensius, you know, like such a glow up from the blueberry that he was before.
Baby blueberry.
But the thing that I'm most excited about, we're in the War Within, and the War
That is a
Within is
model
part
upgrade.
of the World Soul Saga, a trilogy of expansions that, you know, like interweave their story all throughout. And so the campaign and the story within Ghosts of Koresh will matter so much more to the next expansion than it has ever done before. I'm really looking forward to seeing how players go through the campaign and absorb the story.
I'm excited.
So you telling me that it's going to matter more than a titan plunging your sword into the world and creating the entire backbone of an expansion? Interesting. Good luck.
For everything you guys have mentioned. That's Ghosts of Koresh, the void-touched major update coming to the War Within. Thank you, Steph and Drew.
This sounds dope. I'm very excited to hear there's more world content. I'm very excited to hear about it being a full-on PvP island. That sounds sick. PvP talent updates. I hope they do a better job than they did in the last round of tuning for it. Like, seriously, Bloodstones, what were BLIZZ thinking? But, yeah, no, I'm excited to see some